Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Decks of the Weekend, where I talk about the formats that caught my attention during this weekend. Let's start saying that this weekend I was at Four Seasons, which is one of the best tournaments I have the pleasure to play in. It's Modern and Legacy, and I got to play some of the new cards, so that was fun. Um, I played Mono Black in Modern in the team event, and then I played also in one of the side events. I top eighted on Sunday, going 5-1 with this deck. It was kind of like a for fun choice. I definitely didn't like. It was just a more relaxed thing, and I wanted to play with Beseech the Mirror, which seems like a pretty fun card to try and chain your rings. Not necessarily the best in this shell. Maybe we can do something better as you only have orcs, rings, and a new spellboom to sacrifice to it. I really like these mono black versions without coffers and Urborg. I think it's a little bit more solid. But let's now go to the decks of the weekend that actually ended up doing well. First, let's start talking about Not Dead After All. This is a very good card in Reckless Scam. This list in particular, top aided by a good friend of mine, Andrea Riva, and he was playing for Not Dead After All, 2 Undying Evil. Which is what we said in the podcast last episode. And he said that he listened to the podcast and cut his 6 Feign Death, Undying Malice for 4 of this and 2 of the Undying Evil. He went 8-1 in the Swiss as the tournament was over 400 people, and he said that he the damage ended up mattering very often. He won a lot of games, he said, where against, for example, mono black coffers or for color Omnath, where the damage matters in combination with lightning bolt as well. Outside of that, this is Rack the Scam, the best deck in the format. That was the most popular deck in the format, so it gained a new card and it already did well. The rest of the top eight is quite diverse, as often is, and I'll add it in the comments of this video, of course. In the first place, again, how Four Season works is that the top eight splits all the time. It's just it all happening one day, so you just do 9 rounds of Swiss, and then everyone wins the same prize. But yeah, so 8-1 for Hardened Scales. Reckless Scam twice, one of them with the non-dead after all, one of them with. And then you have another good friend of mine, Matteo Paolucci, on Team of Rhinos. Actually, made this video this morning. I can't play the other deck. I can't play Scam yet because of Magic Online. The new cards will arrive in a few days. More Team of Rhinos, and then we have Yugmoth, just get control with Days Undoing, which I'll definitely try, and then for color control with Omnath and Halfling, the classic one. So yeah, overall, kind of what we would expect. There was a Murktide in the ninth place as well by Di Pierno, and the format is, as always, kind of balanced with the most played decks. Sorry, the best decks being Rhinos and Scam, as I said in my more power ranking. But overall, I look forward to see Not Dead After All boosting even further this archetype. But really like this list, and again, Riva is a player that already has top 8 Modern 4 season with Scam, so definitely an interesting one to follow. Let's go through Legacy, where we have another. There was another 2 important tournaments. The ELM, that is the European Legacy Master, the Invitational that I got to participate in on Saturday. Unfortunately, I didn't do well. I played my Scam deck that I've showed on the stream many times, and the tournament was won by Mono Black Helm, featuring 4 copies of Beseech the Mirror. Beseech the Mirror is a tutor effect. Again, I have showed you in the modern one, but in this deck is extremely good because you have access to Vaults of Whispers, Chrome Mox, and also Urza Saga things to sacrifice, and you go get Elm of Obedience, and you just win the game with it. So, for example, you just open Leyline. I actually got paired against him on Sunday in the 1-1 bracket, and he just killed me so quickly. Both games, he had Leyline of the Void, and then he discarded my Force of Will, played a Beseech the Mirror, sacrificing a Vault of Whisper, Helm of Obedience, killed me very quickly, very consistent. Beseech the Mirror makes that, sometimes it's awkward to draw Helm if you don't have a Leyline or a Dot in play, which for those of you who know, it's an infinite combo. You mill your opponent deck with Helm plus one of these in play. So having 4 besiege and only 1 shield red, 1 card, and 1 helm lets you be more solid. You also have Ingolten Gains, which combos with Leyline, as each player discards their hand and you return 3 cards, but your opponent doesn't return anything because they're under the ley line. So actually, one game, afraid of my 2 mana on top, I could have had a Brazen Borer. He just went for Gotten Gates, discarded my hand, and easily won the game regardless. So this is a deck that can definitely be probably the best home for Beseech the Mirror. There's another deck that did well in the weekend I want to show to you. It's from Claudio Bonanni. He top 8 the Four Season Legacy, which was 9 rounds of Swiss, again, 405 people, and he got there with Up the Beanstalk. We've talked about this card for a while. It's a 2-mana enchantment that says, comes to play, draw a card. Whenever you play a 5 or a 6 drop, a 5 drop or more, you draw a card. So that means Force of Will, Leyline Binding, Terminus, just a larger Fourth Lingus, or even Lawrence Revealed, you draw a card. And the more you have in play, the better Force is. Claudio Bonanni is the GP champion. He won GP Lille in Legacy, and he's one of the best Italian Legacy players, so it's nice to see him doing well with these strategies. Honestly, 4-color was just dominant this tournament. The Decklists of the top 8 aren't out yet, but I can tell you there's a lot of 4-color. Blue-Black Scam, there still are some of them in the top 8, at least one that I know, but it was definitely hated. Again, I got paired against 4-color, easily lost on round 2, and then I lost to Helm on round 3, but overall, this was an excellent meta game choice for the weekend, and Up the Beanstalk might be the way to go and the way to beat the mirror match moving further. Moving alongside formats, there is another formats where that I have never featured on my channel, and that doesn't get any new cards because it's by definition in a format that doesn't rotate, doesn't get anything new. That's called Premodern. So if you don't know what that is, that is a format where you can play cards that have old border, as in from 95, so Ice Age, to uh, the last set before Mirrodin. Now, obviously, what you see here, it's mostly reprints, so because Magic Online, they don't want to just manually change everything. But a good friend of mine, Tommaso Turchi, he won for the second time in a row, actually, the Four Season Pre-Modern with green white, and I actually wanted to just consider playing this format alongside with him because he's a very good friend of mine. This actually is his deck, which kind of maybe looks a little bit better in old border, but overall this deck wins with Armageddon. You blow up your opponent land, and in the meanwhile you pump your Werebear, you pump your Nimble Mongoose, you have Mox Diamond to keep on getting mana, and you have a Single Library to draw a card, and you have Weather Wayfinder, which is really important in this deck because you're always in land disadvantage. You even have Ritz Grove to bounce your lands even. But yeah, you just get wasteland, you wasteland your opponent out, and this way. So I might get into Premodern. I might make some Premodern content. It's all up in the air. This good friend of mine is trying to convince me to make some content, so we will see. But it was definitely fun to see him just winning the tournament. A format that I wasn't very familiar with, even Terravor. Power and toughness equal to the number of lands, although post sideboard not great because Tormod's Crypt is very real in people's sideboard. But yeah, overall, if you enjoyed some Premodern content, let me know in the comment. And thank you everybody for watching. Have a great week.